Hi guys, welcome to this video. So this is the third update for the Necromunda vertical table. I've done a lot of progress. You can see it here behind me, but Windows Updates decided that it was going to update this morning and ruin my entire setup. So that's why I've got weird lighting going on and I can't quite get it to display properly. So I'm going to have to use photographs instead because both my cameras are refusing to behave. So let's crack on and have a look. Right then, here we go. So first off, I want to start off showing you a little bit of work I've been doing. So you'll notice there's a big hole there. That is it's the board I don't know when I was talking about it last video, but basically I wanted to have a section where it had lots of interesting lines of fire, sort of, and even down through there. And I also wanted to make it a feature piece as well. So this is an A4 section. They're all A4 sections, but it's one of the A4 sections, and all it's got is these small walkways on either side and lots of interesting shooting. We played a game last night, and it really added a lot to the board, being able to shoot great depths down the table. So that was pretty cool. One of the things you'll also notice after the last video is these little things here. So this is the first attempt at a barricade I did, and then I went on to do this design in the back here. I think I prefer that one because I wasn't too happy. Sorry, I'm going all over the place with this. I wasn't too happy that it didn't reach the bottom of that. It looks a little bit tacked on, and I wanted to emphasise the chevron section on the bottom. So this is a design I came up with. Just stretched it slightly without making it too tall. This is 3 layers of 0.25 styrene to make those up. I've also made a load more of the ladders I designed before. Both of those are going to be sort of broken up, so sections will be taken out. There'll be big sort of damages done to them, maybe even cut a corner off. Same for the ladders. I'll break some of the rungs. I'll break some of the handrails and make it look really worn down and used, basically. So that's the new things I've added, and this is how the table looks. So this is a photo I took during my game last night. As you can see, we added barrels to the table. We had these as our objectives. These are just some containers I've got which I haven't painted. They're black at the moment. Barrels all over the place. This is one of the big containers that I did paint. Made a video of it a little while back. I'll see if I can put a link up to the right. And as you can see up here, this is where we had the interesting sort of lines of fire. There was some really good places where you could shoot from. And I'm not sure if it's too clear from this video, but this section here, here, and here, all raised away from the table. It's a new. So this bottom part here is a new section I've been working on since the last video, and it just extends this sort of column that runs up here all the way to the bottom of the table. It also means that I can set up 2 different towers. One of them, of course, is going to be 4 levels high. The other one 2 levels high. So I can put them on different sides of the table, and it can add some interesting dynamics, again, with shooting, because what I found is I can actually shoot. You can sort of shoot from up here all the way down there, which I think is what happened to this fella down here, although he probably fell, knowing me. So what we're actually doing is we're using a sort of house rule for falling on this table, because, of course, you're always within the distance from the edge that's required to fall. So every time you shot, there's a chance you're going to fall off the edge. Now, if you're using the standard rules out of the Necromunda rulebook, you're just going to fall and fall and fall and fall and fall, and you're off the table. I thought that was a little bit harsh with the amount of falling we do. So what we do instead is we basically do it so that if you fall, you take another initiative check, another one, until you pass it, and that's where you end up. And then you work out the damage based on the full distance fell. It just adds a little bit more, because this guy here, if he fell from up here, for example, down to there, he would have been off the table. He would have been gone. I would have lost several miniatures just off the bat from a little bit of shooting. What it means is he stayed down there. He's probably wounded and half dead, but he's still in the fight and still able to contribute. It just makes the game work a lot nicer. So that's how the board looks. You can see that there's a lot of it has now been textured. There's little bits down here, there and there, which still haven't got any texture on them, but I've done all the joining bits, so it hides the joins down there, and down there. Excuse the terrible drawing. That hides the joins between the different tiles, so you can sort of, you don't notice that it's not one solid piece of wall. You can see up here what it would look like if I didn't have those bits in. You can really see the line between the tiles. Right, I think that's everything I wanted to discuss, and an update. So this is how the table looks with the standard 8 tiles. And I'm going to add more. So the plan is I'm going to try and add more dynamic features as well. So if I add a lift, it'll be dynamic, so you could call it on one floor and we'll move it maybe 2 floors a turn, something like that. So you can really have control of it, and if somebody's on it, you can come along and hack it, because there's rules in Necromunda for hacking, and really mess with each other and have another way of traversing the different levels as well. So a lift that sort of is it's going to attach to the outside of the wall, and you sort of step out onto it, and then it will move up and down. Another feature somebody mentioned on the Yak Tribe forum, if you're not a member, go on ahead and join. It's fantastic for seeing Necromunda content. It was a little drawbridge. So you activate a panel here, and you can close it and open it, which of course will block line of sight, which is pretty cool, and also make a bridge to traverse onto the next bit. It could be a cool sort of outer wall for a excuse me, for a gang layer, for example. You could really section off a part of the board and make it into a sort of strong fortress, if you will, for any rescue missions, that sort of thing. Another thing I'm going to be adding is, you may have seen this on my Instagram, I put up a video. I don't know whether you can see that there, but this is ELwire. So this glows, it works off a couple of batteries in here. Again, apologies for the quality of the video. I don't know what my computer's been doing, but it's really messed up the light and the colour. You can see that there, it's glowing. It's not a massive glow, but the hope is that it'll work okay. I'll just bring across the piece of board that I've already tried this on. There we go. As you can see there, under each floor, this isn't working at all. I've got these holes here, here, and basically what I've done is I threaded the ELwire out here, in there, and then down, out there, and in there, and so on, and it goes all the way to the bottom. So a single piece of this, and you can power 5 of them from a single battery pack, lit up this whole board. So I just can't get it to show properly, but you can really see the holes. And it just gives a little bit of a glow underneath each of the platforms. I need to do some fittings underneath here with some styrene tube, and to hide the holes, and also make it look like there's different lights under here. So you can have different tube fittings to thread it through, and it'll obviously only glow in between the plastic fittings. So there's that as well. So there's a lot left to do. I've also got to add pipe work and all sorts of funkiness to the background once I've put all the texture on, which has taken me an awful long while. I've got to cut probably another 7 or 8 sheets of the stuff in at half an hour a time. And I'm only getting a couple of hours a night. And then there's neatening it up, layering it, sticking it to it, making sure I can fit by cutting bits out. It's become a bit of a slog, but I think it'll be worthwhile. I'm about, say, 60 or 70% of the way with texturing the whole thing and getting it look nice. This bit here is actually fully textured, and you can see, this lighting. You can see that there. You've got the texture on the floor bits here, and also on the walls as well. And there's some doors to be done as well. I want the whole thing to look like that. I'm also going to be putting a bit which goes across the top, which makes the top floor look like a top floor as well, because of course you can go on there. Once all that's done, like I say, put pipe work in, put some cool details, then I'm going to start making some scatter terrain. Then I'm going to start painting it and probably drill the holes on the rest of the boards so they can have a cool lighting like that. Whether the lighting works, I don't know, because it is a very dim, doesn't emit much light. It sort of shows up really, really well, but doesn't really emit it. So if you're trying to hide the wire, it doesn't glow all that much. We'll see once it's painted. The holes are fairly sort of inconspicuous, and I can just put a patch over each one if it turns out I don't want to use them anyway. Fairly simple. And you'll notice as well, this is bowed. If I hold it in the middle like that, I need to do some work with styrene to reinforce each of the panels as well, and just make them back to straight. Once they're on the board, they're not too bad, because you've got the weight of the shelves sort of straightening out. But if you put it flat, it stays like that. So not ideal. Anyway, we're rambling on far too long. Again, apologies for just the look of the video. I'm not at all happy, but Windows have totally screwed me on that one. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a long while between these two videos, so I've been putting updates on these things over here, especially the old Instagram. So go ahead over there to follow me, and you'll get to see updates in between of this funky stuff. Right, and of course subscribe if you want to see future updates, because it's going to be a couple of videos before this thing's finished, or even to the point of being painting. To be honest, I'll probably start talking about my plans for painting it in a future video. So look out for that. Right. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry for rambling on too long, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Stay well, guys.